What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Rip the Net, where we bring you sports and culture. My name is Eric.
I'm Dre.
I'm Alexi.
And yeah, man, back for another episode. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Want to know all your thoughts on these takes. We have some interesting topics to get to today, so always welcoming the conversation, all the opinions. How you guys doing this week?
Good. I think some pretty interesting topics this week. And just in general, I know we don't talk about it on here, not yet at least, but TV is popping off, man. Daredevil's back, Severance going crazy, Invincible going crazy. It's been a good week for that.
Dude, the latest Severance episode, my God, that was
It's wild.
incredible.
Gotta get you
Incredible.
on that, Eric, so we got some TV talks on here.
We'll get to that one day, man. I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
I do need to see Daredevil. I do need to see that still. The new season.
Yeah. Let me know your thoughts when you see it.
Yeah. I saw there was some criticism from some people, so I'm curious why.
Yeah.
Is Daredevil is that like Let me not. Is
Yeah,
that like...
you're on the right track.
Okay.
It's Marvel.
Okay. Cool, man. Is it? Oh wait, it's a ongoing series.
Yeah, it just came back. It was on like Netflix, and then that ended, and now Disney Plus is bringing it back because they have Marvel and all that stuff.
Wait, I literally think I had. This is like the third time I've been in the middle of a Daredevil conversation, is what I've realized. Like, oh, this is what
Not knowing what it is.
Yeah, I was like hearing. I was like, okay, I guess something was first on Netflix and is now on Disney Plus, but I know what it was about. So this is what they were talking about. All right. Cool, man. Whenever TV talk happens, I kind of check out mentally.
That's fair.
Yeah, I've been watching the I don't know if either of y'all have tuned in, but the Court of Gold Netflix documentary, which is like the Olympic basketball docu-series where it kind of follows the entire Olympic tournament of each individual country. Well, at least the ones that like made it further. It's been pretty interesting.
What is that on?
Netflix.
On Netflix, okay. Netflix has been like diving deep into the sports documentaries, I feel like, recently.
They had success with Drive to Survive, and we're like, yeah, let's do that with every sport.
Everything.
Not in the MJ documentary, I think, right? That was a big one.
Last Dance was massive.
Last Dance, yeah.
But then they did like the Redeem Team one.
Redeem Team, yep. Man.
Yeah, and I know they did one for like sprinting for like the leading up to the Olympics and stuff. So I guess they're going all in on that. I know they did one for like quarterbacks. I think for the NFL they did one for like every skill position. They like quarterback, wide receiver, or something. They just keep spamming them. Then
they had Starting Five, which is like they follow 5 NBA superstars.
Yeah. I haven't watched it, but I've seen that.
Yeah, no, it's all good stuff. I think I just am putting it off for like when I need some TV. Yeah, but
yeah, fair.
But yeah, man, cool. Word. All right, man. Speaking of Starting Five, speaking of Court of Gold, man, I do want to get to a hot topic in the NBA world. Well, maybe not a hot topic, but a headline that I definitely saw kind of going around over the past few days. So LeBron James was seen confronting Stephen A. Smith during a game with the New York Knicks this past week at Crypto.com Arena. Looks like LeBron approached Stephen A. and had this kind of confrontation with him. People who I guess you could say the alleged lip readers of the internet have gone around and given their thoughts on what it is that LeBron is saying. Many of them were able to make out LeBron saying something about telling Stephen A. to keep his son out of this or out of it, whatever that may mean. My guess is just, first take conversations and any opinion that Stephen A. publishes. But Stephen A also went on his platform and confirmed those rumors, saying that LeBron was confronting him on past comments that had bothered him, but he also alluded to the fact that there are also other NBA players who were bothered by Stephen A's comments. So, for those who may not know, LeBron James Jr., is a current rookie on the LA Lakers. He was drafted in the late second round this year, and many will say he's had this kind of underwhelming start to the NBA, or to his NBA career. Many are categorizing this as a case of nepotism. So, just a very controversial topic, but clearly it has now come to this point where you have LeBron confronting one of the biggest, or probably the biggest media personality in the world of sports. So what are your guys' thoughts? Did you guys see this? Any opinions?
Yeah, I saw this online, and I just found it insane that Stephen A had to drop like a 10-minute video replying about a 10-second conversation, not even conversation, comment that was given to him. I just think, like, he always kind of overreacts to things, and that's part of the entertainment. And this is a fine line, because I see the nepotism argument and believe that, kind of based off of what I've seen about Bronny's performance. But also it's like, like, they're on the same team, like father son, like that's more than just a teammate relationship. And so when you're talking about a kid coming into the league, and then you got the father right there with the power to bring that kid on the team, and who knows people in the industry, I mean, it's just like, yeah, like there's gonna be a bad reaction. So I wouldn't say anything I've seen so far has been surprising.
Okay. So do you have any like opinions on how the media has come for Bronny? Or I know you said you see where it's coming
I don't think he deserves any special treatment. Like, I think that's just how the media works with any player not doing well. Like, I mean, you could talk about like Marcus Rashford, bro, or Hoyland in soccer. Like, they get critiqued a lot, and reasonably so, for their performances. And so I think Bronny, now being, in the NBA, he's going to get that same critique. But I'm also saying, because of this kind of weird situation of family being on the same team and LeBron being LeBron, like, I'm not surprised that there's going to be a kind of clash between the two, of like media and then, the players.
Fair. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Interesting. Dre, what are your thoughts?
Oh boy. LeBron James, man. This guy's funny. Don't come for me, Bron. We're a no-name podcast. We're no platform. We're not hating on your son. Nothing like that. But the numbers are the numbers. Like, it just is what it is. You can't be mad. In my opinion, I don't agree with Stephen A on everything. I do think he can sensationalize a lot of things. That's part of his job in a way. And he does have numbers he's trying to hit, bosses he has to respond to, and there's a reason why, like he always says, he loves to say that his show's been number one for however many years, because this is what they do. But in this instance, I really don't see the issue. Like, you wanted your son in the league, your son who's at best a fringe league caliber player, but you wanted him in the league. You almost damn near strong-armed the league into someone drafting him, so saying you would go to their team. And now he's here, and I have no issue with it. There's two separate things. From an objective perspective, I do have an issue with the nepotism, but from LeBron's perspective, as a father, you're doing the best you can for your son. That's okay. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say, I want my son in the league, and basically use your status as a top 5 player of all time to bring your son into the league, but then also be upset that your son gets treated like a player in the league. I don't understand, like, how you can try to split those things up. And at the end of the day, Bronny is 20 years old. He's a grown man. Obviously, he's not like, I'm not saying he's like an adult like LeBron is to that extent, like has a life experience. But at this point in time, he has to fend for himself if you're going to put him on this platform. I just looked it up. Bronny was born October 6, 2004. Garnacho, a player on Man United, just in case anyone listening to this clip doesn't know who that is, he's a player who plays for Manchester United, was born July 1st, 2004. These guys are the same age, and Garnacho gets slandered week in, week out if he doesn't play well. No one's there to defend him. No one's there to say, oh, don't talk about Garnacho. Maybe the Glazers, but... And
on a larger scale, probably, too, with soccer being international.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm not saying everything that happens to Garnacho is deserved, but that just comes with the territory. And there's no like sugarcoating it and thinking, oh, this player, no one's untouchable. So I don't understand how you can not separate the two. I completely get it as a father, but LeBron knows the industry better than anyone. So I don't understand how he can't see it as like, okay, even if I'm not happy that my son's getting this media coverage, this is also the position I put him in. So the best thing he could do really is say, hey, Bronny, let's go, put your sneakers on. Let's go train, bro. You gotta get better. Like, you gotta get better, bro. Like, that's literally all it comes down to. There's nothing you can do about it other than just improve. So I think this is a bad look. I'm not saying, because of course, I don't even think he wanted this to even be a story, but doing it in public, like, Bron just, the way he moves in general, just sometimes I'm like, bro, if you're going to do this at a Knicks-Lakers game, people are going to see this, bro. Like, cameras are always out. Of course people are going to see this. Like Stephen A said, and I think he's right, if you really wanted to talk to Stephen A and get this message to him, there were other ways to reach him or do this behind closed doors. So, I don't know. I can't back LeBron on this one.
Interesting. So, a couple of things. First thing, before I forget, LeBron is a top 2 player. He's not top 5. He is top 2. I am not.
Continue.
I am not the biggest LeBron fan. Many consider me a LeBron hater, but he's number 2. But anyways, that's out the way. You mentioned Bronny was born in 2004, and you mentioned Garnacho, an NBA player who was born in 2004, Victor Wembanyama. Just if we're keeping tabs, right? I think this idea that Bronny is a kid and that he therefore does not deserve any criticism, I think that's people, whoever is saying that is clearly just in denial and is not, Wemby is on ESPN all the time, and I understand that a lot of it is positive. He is the young superstar, that the NBA seems to have its eye on, that the entire NBA world seems to have its eye on. So, but just so that we know, and just if we're keeping tabs, Wemby was also born in 2004. So, in case anyone's wondering. But one thing that I also do find interesting, yes, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Bron in 2023, so about 2 years ago, put out a tweet saying Bronny is definitely better than some of these cats I've been watching on League Pass today. It's lightweight hilarious. And this was obviously kind of him just preparing people for Bronny's move to the NBA. And I'm just like, my situation with it is that I believe that all the criticism towards Bronny has been warranted. People will say like, okay, why are we criticizing a late second round pick this much? Partly because he had so much airtime on ESPN when the draft was going on. He is probably the most famous second round pick of all time. There has not been a second round pick in the NBA who has gotten as much media coverage before and after the draft as Bronny James. So this was kind of a recipe for disaster. I think those who watched him play in college and those who saw his game knew that he wasn't NBA ready. He's a 6'1" guard whose best attribute is his defense. So chances are he's not gonna, I personally do not think he has a long NBA career ahead of him. People said that his ceiling was being a starter on a team. I don't even think it's there. I hear all the time that, the NBA isn't necessarily made of the 450 best players in the world. And I understand that, right? Sometimes you have a connection, sometimes for whatever reason, maybe because you played for a particular college team, because you've had some success in college or overseas, maybe that kind of allows you to squeeze into a roster spot. This case is super blatant, right? LeBron has always talked about wanting to play with his son, so I think Bryce is on the way too in a bit. So I think we're gonna get that pretty soon. But to act like, when Bronny got drafted, I remember JJ Redick was like, let's be clear, Bronny has earned this. And as much as I would want to root for somebody who has made it to the NBA, because that's a feat, right? That's a feat within itself. I think it's super clear that Bronny's talent is not up to par with the rest of the NBA. So I think the criticism is warranted. If there's anything that Stephen A said that I feel like I understand Bron being frustrated by, because let's be clear, Bron is the most scrutinized player in the NBA, right? Skip Bayless is notorious for being a LeBron hater, and we've never seen anything like this. I don't think I've ever seen LeBron come back biting at the media, come back to the media and complain and argue, or kind of just like hold his ground with the media. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. So the fact that these comments are what sparked this reaction from him is a little bit interesting to me. Stephen A did say that, like, as a father, LeBron should put an end to this, and I think that's where I can see it kind of getting on the slightly more personal side, because now you're coming at somebody's parenting when your job is to cover sports, right? And I understand where Stephen A is coming from. I pretty much agree with what he's saying, but you can't just bring up parenting like that and expect no backlash. You know what I mean? So I understand if that's what got LeBron angry, but I think, like you guys have mentioned, this criticism has been warranted and is justified.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I can see the point about the parenting phrasing. I think Stephen A can get himself in trouble with his language sometimes, just the way he puts things. And I think also in a way he does do it intentionally to bait certain reactions out of people. But I can also see the point of view is, as a parent, you're the one who put him in this position. So it's also your responsibility to protect him from this criticism, and not in the way saying, oh, you can't criticize, but in the way of pull him out of the spotlight. But of course, I think at this point it's too far gone. I think we just have to write out this Bronny saga until LeBron retires, and then see what happens from there. Like if things go like how you're saying, which I don't necessarily disagree with, it's probably a slow exit from the league. But the thing is, Bronny, the one thing I'll say, I respect Bronny for wanting to even be in this position, because he doesn't need to be. He can go do whatever he wants. And I suspect in a few years, if LeBron retires and Bronny's like, you know what, depending on how his development goes, but if he's like, I'm not really cutting it, I'm not really trying to just be in the league just to be riding the bench or going back and forth looking like Mac McClung, then like I could see him being like, I'm just gonna go stream on Twitch, bro. Like I'm good off this. And he has every right to do that. Like, he's set for life. LeBron has acquired generational wealth for his family. Like, Bronny really doesn't need to do this. And I could see he wants to do this. And that's the only thing that I'm like, if he's gonna improve, it's gonna be through that desire. And I'm hoping that's enough to carry him and help him improve. Like you said, his defense is his best attribute. He's got to just hone in on that, become a lockdown stopper, and maybe develop a good three-point shot, be a 3-and-D guy. I don't know. But even like he's moving like a slasher. I'm like, they put a highlight up whenever this dude even like drives to the hole and gets a layup. I'm like, bro, this isn't like, what is this? Like, y'all moving like you did something crazy. But that's just gonna come with it. And like you said, he's on the shorter side too for a guard. It's not the right package. Bryce, on the other hand, I haven't seen a ton of Bryce, but what I've heard, like the growth spurt he's had, that may be a different story. But Bronny, unfortunately, I just don't think it's on the cards for him. It's just unfortunate, but at the same time, the fact that you even get to touch an NBA court was very fortunate in the first place. So I guess you just got to take what comes with it.
I agree with you, man. I agree. I think it's also actually, first of all, Mac McClung just caught the meanest stray. I'm not gonna let that one slide. He said he's just like Mac McClung. He comes out and just.
Am I wrong?
That's crazy. Honestly, though, my biggest wish for Bronny, he has been balling in the G League. If we want to talk about what benefits the game of basketball, if you have a high-profile name in the developmental league, that is not a bad thing, you know. And like you said, there's no shame in not making an NBA, not having, I guess you could say, a long NBA career. We've seen it time and time again. We've seen children of superstars, of Hall of Fame players, try to make the move and they can't. You know, there's people always come at Marcus Jordan, but there's also Zaire Wade, right? He was on the G League, or was in the G League for some time, and has most recently played overseas. So it's very common to see these superstar players come in and not really be what their parents were, and that is totally fine, right? Like, there will only ever be one LeBron James. There will only ever be one Dwayne Wade. And, you know, we'll see with this next generation, because there's a lot of children coming in. There's Elijah Arenas, Kyan Anthony. Like, I'm excited to see how a lot of these players come out and develop, but I also think there are these unfair expectations of these children, or the sons of these NBA Hall of Famers, to be a fraction of what their parents were. And I think, if we're being realistic, that is such a hard feat to even get to, regardless of the amount of training, regardless of how much preparation you've had. So that's just one thing I think is worth pointing out. But I by no means am wishing Bronny any harm. I wish him the best, but I think it's very clear he's just not ready, and he's just not up to par with the talent, and that is okay. My problem is just when you have, in the case of this year, people within the Lakers, LeBron, JJ, saying that no, like he deserves to be here, he earned this, or, you know, he is better than the talent out there right now. Like, that's a straight up lie. So when you do that, you're just adding fuel to the fire. But, you know, I can't say I'm mad at a man coming to protect his son. Like, I'm never gonna come at somebody for that. Like, you know, everybody has their triggers, and if that's what got you angry, then like I don't look down on you for it. I see a lot of people criticizing LeBron, which I think the criticism is fair to an extent, but at the end of the day, you have a man protecting his son. I don't think anybody can argue against that. But we also do have to realize, hey, the place this is coming from is a justified place when it comes to the media. Like, the criticism is justified. So there's two sides to every story, and LeBron is entitled to feel how he does. But the reality is he has kind of been a catalyst for all this. So can't ignore that either. Yeah,
and I think your point about the children of these players coming through, it's such an interesting like dynamic. Because at one side, like I do agree that they have like unrealistic expectations on them, but at the same time, like you guys are trying to follow in your parents' footsteps and taking on that burden. And if my father was LeBron James, I am not touching a basketball court, bro. Like maybe I'll play in like high school for fun or whatever, but I'm not like taking that seriously as trying to go pro.
I'm streaming, bro. I'm streaming.
Like Bronny was streaming. I think he missed out on what he was good at, bro. Bronny was streaming. Like even if take some of those, I'm sure he's gonna have some genetic advantages coming from LeBron James nuts. But like even then, I would go and pursue football or something. Pursue some other sport where you're not going to be directly compared to LeBron James or like any of the other players, Marcus Jordan, like you said, these other players coming through. I think it's also different if your father was just like a role player or just like a decent player in the league versus like one of the greatest ever.
Yeah.
That also switches things up. But yeah, I would not even try to like open that can of worms if I were a child of like a legendary player. It's never gonna work out because you're not when you're just not them. That is what it is. But I think they think because like, okay, my dad did this. I think maybe even the parents think this. Like, I was able to get this far, and now I've made all this money. But my son can train with all the resources I didn't have as a child. Maybe he can make up for that lack of inherent talent. And it just doesn't work out that way. Like, there's something about that struggle that just breeds something different, bro. Like these guys growing up in this cushy life, like it's not the same, bro. Like, it's just not the same. So yeah, I 100% agree that there's some unfair expectation on them, but at the same time, like, just do something else, bro. Like, I'm sure you love basketball. You could get into covering basketball. There's other things you could do around the sport, but trying to be like a fraction of your parent, it's not a good recipe.
We're gonna see the same thing with Ronaldo's son in a few years, man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's gonna be on an even bigger scale than this.
That's gonna be rough. Well, I mean, I hope maybe he'll be crazy. I don't know, but like, you just can't. Like, it's just an unattainable goal. Like, this is Ronaldo.
Like, there's a precedent you can't control that is just set, and you can't change that no matter what. Like,
he can go on to be the best player in the world and still not even touch a fraction of Ronaldo's numbers. Like, it's just such a wide gap between what him and Messi were able to do and like what everyone else is even capable of. That like, it's just damn near impossible. Like, I just have to be real about that. But hey, man, if he starts out in the Saudi league, maybe you just farm some numbers out there. Man.
I was about to say, you get the Mbappe treatment, in the French league, stat pad.
Stat pad, man. Stat pad.
Oh, man. Dang. Okay, cool, man. I think we're all in a somewhat of a similar place. So this is definitely an interesting topic. Any other thoughts on this?
Crazy, but yeah, I'm good to move on as well.
I didn't even think I caught all of that, but word. Okay. Next point, man. So, in the sneaker world, we do have an upcoming release that we want to talk about. We have the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 4 Brick by Bricks. I've seen pictures of these circulating around the internet. I've seen it for some time now. And, Nigel Sylvester is a pretty popular figure in BMX world, obviously, but also the sneaker world. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on these sneakers, and I actually want to hear, Alexi, what your thoughts are, because I think I've heard you speak on these before.
Yeah, these are, I want to say, probably one of my most hyped fours in a long time. I think these are perfect. Just the color, the hue of orange on them. I know this is a podcast, but if you Google them, you'll see they're an all orange Jordan 4 in this buttery suede. And it just looks beautiful, bro. It's got a bit of a cream hits on the midsole, as well as probably laces that come with it. And alongside this shoe, he's also releasing a whole clothing collection. And I just think the idea of like basing it off of a brick and the whole, building your career, building your journey, whatever it is, brick by brick, it's a good message. It's a good idea and concept for something like this. I believe the box also looks like a brick, which is a sick detail. So I don't know. These I think are his best shoe. He was well known for his ones that dropped in the past, but these overtake that in my book.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Not gonna lie, man. These are hideous.
Oh, hell no. What?
These are hideous, man. Like, I understand where you're coming from. I always love a sneaker that has a narrative. I do like the
Nah. Fuck the narrative. Fuck the narrative for a second. These just look good, bro. What? The colors?
These look like a GR release. Let's take away.
What's wrong with that? If so, what's wrong with that?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I was actually gonna give the sneaker its flowers first, because I can see the vision. I respect the vision. I just think it does not look good. I think if these were a GR release, which is why I mentioned it, these would sit forever, man. You would see these in the outlets.
Nah,
Like take away the little swoosh at the front, which is like a nice little special detail, as well as the bike air on the heel tab. Like I think those are cool details. I think the brick box is also great detail that kind of makes it unique. These give me like Fire Red 5s. Wait, no, not Fire Red 5s. Raging Bull 5s. That's those are
Ain't
the
nothing
sneakers.
wrong with that.
And listen, Raging Bulls, they're cool. I have no like real problem with them, but you don't really see anybody going crazy for the Raging Bulls. And
But we're also in 2025. I feel like if you go back 10 years, there were a lot more people who were.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with an all red sneaker. My favorite Jordan, one of my favorite sneakers of all time, forget Jordans, are the Toro Bravos. I actually recently picked those up, and I'm pretty excited about that. And that's pretty much an all red pair. That's pretty much an all red pair. And I personally like the execution on those. But these, man, these just look kind of gross to me. These kind of look like, yeah, like I just don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. The color itself doesn't look super. It just doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. I can see this being put together in an outfit. I don't get that twisted. Like I think you can wear these with a few outfits and that's fine. But as far as just like, is this an aesthetically pleasing sneaker? I don't think so. I don't see it.
But it's pretty much all one color though. That's why I'm so surprised you dislike these so much. That's why.
Yes, okay. That's why they look gross.
Because I think depending on the colorway, some shoes in that kind of all one color look, I really mess with. I do have one or two pairs that are like that. So you know, maybe it's a taste thing at that point. You know, to each their own.
If these
for me, these give like an Hermes vibe. You know, a little luxe vibe.
Absolutely not. If these were called the Jordan 4 Mars, these would sit forever.
Oh no, I would be more excited, honestly.
Base like, merchant.
To be fair, also, I disagree with your point because pretty much every orange Jordan, like on a classic Jordan model, has sold out. Because I believe a year or 2 years ago, like a woman's pair of 4s dropped. It was primarily white, but it had like orange details. Those were gone ASAP. Every other Jordan's been gone ASAP in a color like this, except the Gatorade ones. We don't talk about those. Yeah, no, these would sell any day.
These are more red than they are orange, though.
I see orange. You think these are red? Actually, well, in the link you sent, they look a bit red. But if you Google other images and people wearing them, they're orange. Like I could give you maybe like part of the midsole and like the toe guard, the mud guard being a bit redder, but for the most part, I'd say it's orange.
I see hints of orange, like a little bit when there's like a lot of light put on.
This is like the dress from 2012 or whatever that was.
Yeah, true. Or Laurel Yanny or something.
The black and blue, gold and white or whatever.
Yeah, that still tripped me out to this day. But
I don't know how the hell people saw the white and gold. That is crazy.
I always saw white and gold.
That is crazy. Get your eyes checked. Get your eyes checked.
Nah, that's funny. You guys are so split on this. So I guess I'll have to come in and be the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I hate to do this, but I'm kind of split. Like, I'm kinda split. First impressions, like I like the suede, and I like most of it, but that like I don't know exactly the material. I know you're good with materials, Alexi. Like the toe box
Mhm.
area where there's
That's
dual
like a
switches.
hairy suede. That's like a longer
Yeah.
suede.
I don't like that part.
Hold on,
I'm not gonna lie.
look at this image I just sent in our Discord. This high
Okay.
quality, crisp image, and tell me what you
Okay,
think
here-
after looking.
Here they look a little more orange. But yeah, it depends picture to picture whether they look orange or red to me. Even
Yeah.
here, the toe box still looks red. Like the
The
bottom
toe box definitely looks a bit redder.
Yeah,
I'll give that.
depends on the image and the lighting. I've seen like Travis Kelce wearing them; they look very red, like very red. And he's wearing them next to like Mahomes is wearing another red sneaker, and they both look very red. So I think it's very dependent on the lighting. But I think these are ones that I have to like. I need them in hand myself. Even this photo you sent, like, doesn't do enough to tell me. I need to see them myself. I think the exact shade they look like in person is gonna that's gonna depend on that completely. Because some photos, the shade, I'm like, hell no, and some I'm like, oh, they look kind of smooth. I'm not gonna lie, but I think I need to see them in person because when you commit to a color like this, especially when that's so ambiguous, like it kind of looks like a blood orange, maybe, which is kind of like in between a red and an orange.
That is a good description of it. Yeah.
I think when you commit to something like this, it has to be perfect, and I think it's hard. Like, I would never buy this shoe online. Like, I would need to see it in person first, because if it's
you're
just
gonna
a
have to
little
line
off,
up, buddy. Because
one, I'll never buy this anyway. But if I were to buy this, then I would have to buy it in person, which is gonna happen anyway. But yeah, if it's even a little off, it throws off the whole thing because you committed so hard to it. So I'd need to see it in person.
Absolutely.
that's
I will say
fair. I
that-
can understand that.
that image, Alexi, that you sent does look slightly better. I think when I see that, even though it's not the same shade, I get a little bit more like Yeezy Red October vibes, which are a classic sneaker in my opinion. So
I do
that
see
is-
that.
yeah,
I do see that. Like with the bottom half.
yeah, similar vibe. But yeah, I actually, that's a good point from Dre as well. Like, seeing these in person, maybe I changed my mind, but as of right now, the images, I just don't think these really do it for me. And also the fact, and here's the thing, like, I'm not even fine. Like, I don't expect to love every collab, but the fact that you said these are Nigel Sylvester's best drop, I think those
Yes.
Jordan 1,
I stand by that. I stand by that.
those Jordan 1s with the scuffs from 2018, the first drop, I think those, I don't think anything touches that. I mean, I think
I
he's
thought
capable-
those were the most overhyped one at the time. I thought they looked dusty. I thought they looked like you used a public bathroom at a gas station in the middle of nowhere that hasn't been cleaned in 2 weeks. It looks like the floor from that bathroom where a homeless dude is living, smoking crack. Like that is a hideous shoe.
That's insane. Yeah. And I see it, like, I'm looking at this and I'm getting purely 7-Eleven.
Oh hell nah. This is hitting the crack pipe type shit, bro. What is this, bro? What is this, bro? What is this? Nah, this is stained
Eric, you
urinal,
really
bro.
talking
Yeah.
this shoe up?
Nah, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Nah, I stand by these, man. The little, like, there is like a hint of just like, I don't even know what to call it. It's not egg white. It's not cream.
If your eggs look like that, bro, in this economy, I'd switch to a different meal.
But I'm saying like egg white, like a egg white color. Like it's not quite like a clean white. There is like a little bit of like some. There is a different hue to it, but it's not quite a cream. It's like somewhere in between.
The word you're looking for, as Dre said, is stained urinal, bro.
Stained urinal is crazy. I
Is
think
it
these
wrong
are-
though.
And I think when you consider the fact that this is obviously inspired by BMX, so those scuffs are like the scuffs that you get if you're riding on a bike. Or
Do a different color. Do a different color that doesn't look like piss.
fair. But I'm also just saying those have been the best drop he's had. I am looking at.
Nah, cause he had the ones that were like the Royals and the Breads. Like one shoe was A Royal, one was a bread, I think, right? Or were those two separate drops?
Oh, I'm not sure. I
Because
thought you
he had those that were like they were black, and then as you wore them over time, they would fade into.
Oh, I know those. I know that
like
was him. I didn't know that was him.
Yeah,
those the lows or the highs?
Highs.
Oh, okay.
I know those. Yeah, they like peel back.
Those-
Yes,
I think those are.
I think
ugly,
those
too.
are his. I got to go on StockX real quick. Hold on. This is not a paid sponsorship.
You said navy. You said navy blue. I'm seeing this black high top pair.
Yeah,
And
that I think that's the one which faded.
These I don't know about these, man. I think these look like the sneakers that I would see people hang up on the little like telephone cord.
Low key,
Like beat up pairs of sneakers that people would just hang up. Like that's the vibe this gives me.
I kind of agree. I think both of you are wrong. I think those Jordan 4 RMs that he dropped recently
Those are nice.
are actually the best.
Greens? The green
I think the
ones?
green one. I'd put those
I think
second
both.
best. I'd put those second best. I really like
On
those.
feet, because I didn't like them at first either, just because they're like a broke man's 4. But on feet, in certain like with like some sweatpants or something, not necessarily shorts, because then you really see their broke man's 4s. But when you get them a little disguised, I kind of like them on feet. I'm not gonna lie, they've grown on me. So, and I think the colorways are better than this blood orange looking one.
Nah, I think those are nasty too, man. I think if you're taking a classic silhouette, man, do it right. And if you're gonna make some changes, make sure that those changes are like you don't downgrade the sneaker. Those don't even look like Jordans anymore, man. Those look like Pumas.
Which ones are you
like
talking
Pumas.
about now? The
The
green?
grandma's driveway, the 4s.
Grandma's driveway. Wait, what? These ones? Is that what you're calling them?
No, that's what they're called. That's the name of the color.
these. What Dre just?
Oh wait, I'm not even looking at the Discord.
Look at the episode prep. He had the green ones too. I think he
The
dropped
green
the green
ones I like a lot. The green ones I like a lot.
Yeah,
These
I'm talking about-
ones I also like. I think they're less special, but I think the silhouette is good.
These are nasty to me.
Yeah, no, those green ones, fire.
Nasty.
Well, it seems like he's a very polarizing collaborator for Jordan. But I think it's fine. I think it's good to have someone who's doing something a little different rather than
Yeah.
just spamming the same thing. Doesn't mean I like all of them. Not necessarily. The ones you shared are absolute trash. And the black ones I didn't really like either. These blood orange ones to be determined. But I think still, I appreciate that he's doing something a little different at least.
And I think it's cool that Nike, is bringing attention to someone in the BMX space, because I think that's not the first area you would think they would partner with someone on a shoe. So it's cool that they've been doing that, and I'm sure BMX will pop off someday, and then they'll be like, yeah, we were on that the whole time. So they'll get their credit.
True. Interesting. Yeah. No, I am glad we all have different opinions, because clearly we're not on board when it comes to these drops. Now that I'm scrolling through the Discord though, and I'm just like seeing all of these together, those 4s that are dropping, these brick by bricks, don't look too bad anymore. But that's because I'm comparing.
Yeah, okay. Come around now.
You gotta see the bar is very low.
By no means am I saying these look great. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they look a lot less ugly when you put them next to far uglier drops.
Fair comparison, helps out.
Yeah.
Especially next to those crack pipe ones, man. Those ones are terrible.
Crack
Absolutely
pipe
terrible.
ones.
You guys I feel like you guys also pick bad images too.
No, that is the shoe. That is
No
the
one
shoe.
wears- No one wears sneakers no one wears pants that tight anymore. Are those joggers? Like,
The
come on,
pants don't matter, bro.
pants do matter.
Also,
do
I
that.
got one pair of joggers I will always wear my entire life, bro. We gotta
Yeah,
stop.
same,
We gotta
same.
stop shaming on the
Same.
certain type of pants. You know.
I wear them to the gym, but neither here nor there. You also the fours that you sent, like, or the picture of the brick by bricks that you sent, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, you put it next to like a contrasting like concrete floor that kind of makes the red pop a little bit more. The guy has two
You're
arms.
looking for excuses, bro. The guy has 2 arms. What, you want me to find a
He has two
handicap
arm
dude?
sleeves, and he has 2 arms.
I can find a handicapped guy holding the shoe. Like, what do you want me to do?
There's 2 sleeves, I'm saying. So like that makes the color pop more because you're seeing a lot of black, a lot of gray, a lot, just a lot of neutral.
There are
colors.
plenty of videos of this shoe. You can find a video and see how good it is. And then
I think it
you'll
does
come
come back to you need to see him in person. At the end of the day, I think it's
True.
too varying to really trust.
especially for, we didn't even mention this, the retail price, $225.
Oh hell yeah, no. I need to see these in person.
Crazy. Yeah, make
I
a
was-
quick buck.
I was also wrong, by the way. The ones I was referring to earlier, the ones that faded into like breads and royals, those were the Lance Mountains. I forgot who that dude was.
Lance Mountain.
Lance Mountain.
So just got to give proper credit. I'm sending a picture.
Oh, the paint remover. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I remember these. Yeah.
Hey, these are
I
hideous.
thought these were Nigel Sylvester. These I could see. I could give more credit than those gas station ones you're talking about.
No, these look like
I mean, these are. Yeah, I just got stopped at the border for smuggling in coke. Sorry.
crazy. I was gonna say these look like Monster Energy, Mountain Dew, like that kind
These
of.
aren't
vibe.
even green. What?
No, but I'm saying no, like people who drink Mountain Dew and wear the
Oh,
cargo
What, Coke?
tap out sneakers or like tap out shirts. I don't know if y'all know what tap out is.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monster Energy. What else?
Just say you mean like a dwelling in the basement type gamer, bro. Just say what you mean.
Yeah, no. These look like someone's first pair of Jordans ever. Like, oh, shit, I got some ones. And then, oh, what'd you get? These red and blue. I don't know, man. No, these are disgusting.
There's a reason why we forgot his name because clearly he wasn't moving.
Was that dude a biker too? Hold on, I'm looking at him.
He has a biker name. I'm not gonna lie.
Skateboarder and artist. Well, I don't know any of your art, bud. I'm sorry.
Nasty.
Only skater I know is the GOAT, Tony Hawk.
There you go.
Stop.
Will you stop? You claiming he's not the GOAT?
I thought that was like an inside joke.
Well, it kind of also is, but
Tony Hawk too? What?
we'll talk about it later. But
Oh, yeah.
okay, we have to cut this. Apologize to the viewers.
Yeah, we're gonna cut all that.
Unless one of y'all still has that video,
I still have that video.
I'd gladly edit it into the pod if y'all want.
Nah.
Crazy.
We don't need that. When we hit 10,000 subscribers, we can do that.
Word. All right. Well, good talk. We'll see if anybody listening has any thoughts on these. By all means, drop a comment because clearly we are torn. We're split. So we want to hear what y'all have to say. But Dre, do you want to bring on the final topic of the episode?
Yes, indeedy. Don't be greedy. Let's get into it. So this, I'm sorry to the viewers. This last point we're talking about today is the Sidemen Charity Match. Something a little different, still sports related, but getting a little more into the influencer world. And if you guys haven't seen, a few weeks ago, we talked about the NBA All-Star Game and kind of referenced like the NFL Pro Bowl or like pre-Super Bowl thing they did with influencers as well. And kind of just talking about just the idea of a game like this about influencers or just celebrities being in games or charity matches or anything like that, and how kind of the NBA is missing the mark. But I think this is a good example of how to do it right. And the Sidemen, just to give a little bit of context, although I'm sure if you clicked on this, you probably know who they are, but they're a YouTube group from the UK of 7 YouTubers. You probably know KSI, if not the rest of them, who've been around for over a decade. But I'd say the Sidemen officially, quote unquote, started in 2013. And they've done a few charity matches already before this. I think this is the 6th one they've done. And they keep getting bigger and bigger. And this one they actually did in Wembley Stadium out in the UK. 90,000 sold out, which is insane. And they had some of the biggest influencers on the planet playing the game. Just the Sidemen all play, of course, but Speed, Kai, Logan, Mr. Beast, Mark Rober. You know, I don't even watch his content, but I know he's big. Just like, and that's just to name a few. There's like a ton of them out there. So yeah, I watched the game live, but I just wanted to know if you guys had just caught the highlights or anything about it, even on your come across your feeds naturally. Any thoughts you had on the match and any questions as well, and we can just run through it.
Yeah. I saw a lot of clips. I didn't watch the game live. I don't think I've maybe watched the game live once or twice before. I think it's just such a fun concept, so it's always cool to see. And it was great to see some of the names there too. I think having people like Kai and Speed, who have blown up an insane amount recently, there was a big plus. You also got, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul. I don't mess with him, but hey, kind of crazy. You got a WWE star in there. I think the biggest clips for me, the biggest moments that I've seen were Sketch going crazy in the net. He's used to handling balls, and he kept up doing that job in the net, man. He was doing better than Onana in some moments, so got to give credit to him. And then Speed with the pen, the technique wasn't all there, but he got the job done, and it's a crazy thing to see him hit the shoot in front of a whole crowd. So, you know what? Entertaining as hell. I'm sure they raised a lot of money for a good cause, so it's cool to see.
Yeah, and before you jump in, Eric, they actually did, I think the official total at the end of the stream, if I remember correctly, this is literally off the top of my head, was $4,733,000 and $4, I think, which is ridiculous. Like every time they raise more, I think last time they raised like almost $3 million, but they just went crazy and raised so much more this time. It's a great thing too. The whole thing's for charity. People are donating throughout the event. Before the event, you can donate throughout the entire stream. I think all the ticket sales obviously go to the donations. Throughout the entire stream, they're donating. I think during the penalties as well, they had every successful pen scored, Prime donated $10,000 as well. So it's just like so much money raised for charity, which is dope.
It's crazy to see a game with that score line too. It's just so funny, like in a pro stadium with referees and everything. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, this was cool, man. I was pretty entertained. I also did not watch it live, but there were definitely lots of moments. Speed's goals were big moments. And there were some cool, there was a free kick towards the beginning, like a free kick goal. Like that was pretty cool. I don't know a lot of the people who were in it, but I do know Kai, Speed, Phantom Chunks. And my question is, so I understand YouTube All-Star to get YouTubers, right? How do the Sidemen get? I know you said they're a group, but for example, I saw Logan Paul and I believe it was XQC their goalkeeper.
Yes.
So how do they go? How do they become part of the Sidemen? Is it just a numbers game? We got all these people here and we need some people to join our team, or is there more to it?
No, that's pretty much, they always set out to do a full match, 11-11. And obviously the Sidemen are only 7 people. So they're always all on the Sidemen team. and then they have other people to fill out the numbers on both teams, and then they just try to balance it so it's a generally even match. But for example, like you say XQC, the last time he was on the YouTube All-Stars team, and this time he's on the Sidemen team. So it was just generally just trying to fill the numbers. Because I think last time KSI was in goal for the Sidemen, and this time is a fight coming up, so he wouldn't want to be in goal just to risk his hands or anything. So XQC went to their team, and Sketch was on the other team. Just generally, they just try to sort it out like that to make it balanced.
Got you. Okay, that makes sense.
And usually people on the Sidemen team are, I mean, everyone there is their friends and stuff, but usually you see people like closer to them on their team as well, who like might not be the biggest, have the biggest following. People like Randolph or Calix, and I mean, they're just the people with over 1 million subscribers, but they aren't necessarily on the YouTube All-Star quote unquote team. On the YouTube All-Stars, they usually try to get some of the bigger names. Obviously, Mr. Beast and Mr. Beast was actually on Sidemen team last time, but he's on that team. Speed, Kai, like some of the biggest names. But Logan has like the relationship with JJ, so he's on the JJ being KSI on the Sidemen team. So just little things like that. But usually you might see people go back and forth from match to match, but it's always the 7 Sidemen or Sidemen FC plus a few extras, and they also have people on the bench as well.
Got you. And so are there like unlimited substitutions, or is it like once you're out, you're out?
No, it's rolling subs, just because no one really has the fitness to play 90 minutes, except for maybe like 1 or 2 people. But yeah, it's generally rolling subs. There's some players who are clearly better, like the UK YouTubers on average are better just because they grew up playing it a lot more, so they tend to play a lot more of the match just because they're trying to win. And a lot of the American guys are usually terrible. But it's funny because the Americans kind of showed out this time. Then in the match itself, they weren't necessarily the best, but in moments they popped up with goals here and there. Like Kai scored a volley. Speed, he might be one of the least gifted athletic people I've ever seen in terms of like, well, most gifted athletically, but least gifted technically, I should say.
It's crazy.
Like the amount of chances to this match. Let me set the stage at least. Coming into this match, there are 2 people who there was like a narrative behind them needing to score. One was Zerka named Josh on the Sidemen teams, one of the Sidemen, and he's the only person in the Sidemen to not have scored in one of these games, including a guy named Vicstar123, who was the worst at soccer. Like, he's actually terrible. Like, he doesn't play it. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't watch it. Then wasn't like in the FIFA.
Bro was a COD YouTuber, bro.
Yeah, everyone else in the Sidemen played FIFA. Vic was never in the FIFA scene. Like, he doesn't care about soccer, and he's actually terrible. But he scored a penalty in one of the earlier games, and he actually scored from open play, like an actual goal in one of the earlier games. And Josh had never scored, so there was a whole build-up. Josh needs to get a goal this game, so he played up front. And that was a big part of the game. They're all trying to feed him, and they were losing for most of the game because of that. And he ended up getting a penalty, which was cool. I think he didn't want a penalty coming into it, but once he reaches the second half, you're like, okay, you might not actually score. He's like, okay, well, we got a penalty. I got to take it. But the even bigger storyline was, of course, Speed, who played in previous Sidemen charity matches. He played in other charity matches, like the Match for Hope, for example, too. And he just could not for the life of him score a goal, despite being so gifted athletically. Like, he just kicks the ball ahead and he can sprint past anyone. He's just that fast, and he's a chance creation merchant. I'll give him that. Just through that speed alone, he's always in those final areas. But the end product, like, bro's moving like Jeremy Doku, bro. Like, the end product is not there, bro. It's just not there. And I think in the previous Sidemen charity match, he actually scored an offside goal, went and did his Ronaldo, Sue, and then they had to call it back. In this game, he was just whiffing chance after chance. They would put him on a platter. He just could not for the life of him score. But then he got his penalty, and it wasn't the best penalty, but hey, man, it went in. It is what it is. And he ended up scoring the game winning penalty after they went to the penalty shootout. It was the worst penalty I've ever seen, but XQC just happens to be even worse as a goalkeeper. So
XQC, I don't know how he was in net.
This
From
guy,
everything I saw, oh my god.
but that's part of it. Is that they
I take
intentionally
Carius any day.
They intentionally choose terrible keepers, or in theory, intentionally choose terrible keepers because they want the games to be entertaining and high scoring. Because the second one that they ever had, like the other team had really good center backs and a decent keeper, and it ended 2-0. It just wasn't like that entertaining. And then the primary part of it is entertainment. So they intentionally put these bad keepers in net. But Sketch, you know, he didn't get the memo, bro. Bro did not get the memo, bro. There was clearly a gap in ability between him and XQC.
I saw Jinxie apparently said like he was giving Sketch tips before the game, like, oh, you know, you can't dive right away, like you gotta be on your toes, and he was trying to steal all the credit for Sketch.
Ain't no way, bro.
Pop it off.
Yeah, I think Sketch at least has some athletic background with like American football. So even just that little bit, despite not playing soccer, is just enough to make the difference versus XQC, who's like a chair merchant. So like it doesn't really, I don't know, maybe he played hockey or something. I don't know. He's Canadian, but clearly soccer is not his forte, and goalkeeping is not his forte. So and even just the little things like Sketch coming off his line and being quick to pick up like these like over hit loose balls versus XQC who always sit on his line. So he's always facing like 1v1s he didn't need to face. Even things like that were just enough to make the difference. But it was a very entertaining game. And to be fair, Sidemen were robbed. You know, Angry Jin scored an offside goal. And there was
crazy
linesman.
offside.
Yeah, linesman didn't see it somehow. So Sidemen were a little bit robbed there. But, you know, it's all about entertainment at the end of the day. And they usually win. So it's nice to see. One, it went to penalties for the first time ever, which is like they've been wanting that. But, you know, it's only so much you can force that to happen. But it was like fortunate that happened this time because penalties like the ultimate, you know, just get more and more entertainment out of it. And because it was such a close game, it was a potential to do another one. So they might bring it back again because why not? It's good for charity. 5 million raised pretty much. Wembley Stadium sold out. Like these are the stuff of dreams for people who just started out making videos in their room. So why not do another one?
For sure. Okay, so you mentioned charity, and I'm not sure if you answered this already, but I don't think I heard you answer. So just to be clear, nobody gets paid to do this, right? Like how do you get like all these big names? I know they have connections, I know those Sidemen are huge, but just to be clear, no one's getting paid for this, or is that just not public knowledge?
Nah, from what I understand, is purely off of just like wanting to be a part of it. There's a lot of other YouTubers who want to be in it who didn't even make it because there's just only so many spots. But yeah, just because of how big they are, like these are, I think 90% of the people playing they've done collabs with in the past. I'm trying to think of anyone playing like they didn't actually. Maybe not Mark Rober, just because the content is so different. He's like an engineering YouTuber. I think he used to work for NASA. But I think everyone else in some way or another they've collabed with in the past, or at least most of them. So it's just through like the friendships, and because the game keeps getting bigger and bigger. Like the first one ever was like just UK YouTubers, I'm pretty sure. And then I think the second one was similar. The third one they brought in some American YouTubers. This was even back in like 2018 or so. So that was like Rice Gum, Keemstar, like people like that back at the time. They just kept getting bigger and bigger, and then more and more of these influencers are like, oh, this would be a cool thing to be a part of, until the point where like only so many can make it. I know they had like a competition between Sable Ronaldo and Jason Lewine, where like only one of them can make it in, but I think they both ended up getting to play. Jinxie, they do it in like a fun way. And they didn't do this in the past, but they really wanted to build up like the lead up to this game, and they would do like kind of promo for it, where like especially for the streamers, it'd be like I think Kai had to do like a certain amount of keepy ups on his stream to be able to make it. Like only if you do that you were able to make it in, or like Jinxie had something with his stream too, where like they made like a video on an unlisted channel and they're like sent it. So they had some random person send it to him in his chat, like check out this video, and it was like the Sidemen telling him he made it in the game. Just little different things like that, just fun stuff. I think in some of their videos leading up, some of the guests that they had on like collaborating, they would like surprise them with the jersey in the video saying like, oh, you made it into the game. So there's different things like that just to build it up, but it's all through friendships. No one's getting paid. I'd be surprised if something like that happened. I think even for like the bigger ones, like actually this probably is the biggest one, but like Match for Hope too, which is like, I guess I say bigger in terms of sponsored by someone that's not a YouTuber. Even that, I don't think they get paid. Maybe because they have like the ex-professionals, but I'd be surprised. I think it's a soccer aid too, like things like that. I think it's just all off the goodwill. I'd hope so for the charity, but maybe they are paying people behind the scenes. But the Sidemen, I don't think are.
Got you. Okay, that's good to know. That's really awesome, honestly, to get that many people with that much pull into a game. And you were saying it before we got on, before we started recording, but man, NBA needs to take some notes, man. Dig into that network. But
For real.
you know, neither here nor there.
I think the NBA, the NBA has the pull. That's the thing. Like, I don't understand. The Sidemen are just YouTubers, you know? Maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's the part of, like, maybe because it's in their world, other YouTubers are more willing to be a part of something like that. But they have millions of live viewers on this video. I didn't know how much it ended up being. I know the one a few years ago was like over 2 million live viewers, but this one probably dwarfed that. But like, they have the pull. The NBA, the fact that you even got Kai and Drewski, just have Kai and Drewski recruit, like, be the captains and recruit people, like other streamers and influencers to be on their team. Like, just do away with these actors and random like no one cares, bro. Like, actors, like, you're famous for being someone else. No one cares. I hate to be that guy, but like, it's just not the same. In terms of the celebrity level, like, of course actors are talented, but on a celebrity level, actors don't have the same pull that they used to.
They pulled no-name actors from what I'm remembering. At least for me, people, I don't know. Like, they're truly just their production team, whoever's in charge of that, is just out of touch for the NBA. Like, they gotta hire a whole new team who actually knows who's trending, why they're trending. I think part of what makes the Sidemen Charity Match so good is the fact that it is so amateur. You know, it's not these pro players and pro coaches and an official organization backing this. It is literally just a YouTube group. I mean, probably now a company with how big they are, but you know, Sidemen pulling up to Wembley, having fun, knowing it's not all that serious and it's a good time. And like, even the commentators being able to contribute to that, like making jokes and being funny. Like, I would never see the NBA do that. I wish they would. I would be watching if they did. I think, yeah, they just got to take notes and, you know, start learning from the competition.
For sure, yeah. You have something to say, Eric?
No, that was pretty much it. You guys answered all my questions.
Yeah, no, but I agree with what you're saying, Alexi. Like, shout out Spencer FC and Steven Tries on the commentary. Always kill it. I think they've done the last 3 in a row, and then like you said, the banter is always good. They're just able to let loose on, because they know it's not some quote unquote mainstream. Although I would say at this point this is the new mainstream, but they're able to just have fun with it, and I think the people watching can get way more invested, even though at the end of the day it's not about who wins. But despite that, people are able to get way more invested because they care about the people playing. So like, whether or not they win or not, it's not that important. It's more important to see, can Speed score a goal, or who's gonna score in the penalty shootout, or things like that, which is more about having fun. And the most important thing, which I think we talked about with the NBA game, is that all these players, once they get revealed that they're gonna play in the lead up to the match, they're able to make content around playing in the Sidemen Charity Match. Like, I know some of the players are like, they'll have like training, they'll upload videos of them training, or like those are streams where like, I'm practicing for the match, or different things like this. Or like, I know Zerka, the guy who hasn't scored, he had like a series on his channel where he's like road to a goal, like he was like practicing, trying to get better. And Speed was on the Champions League show on Paramount Plus or CBS with Henri and Michael Richards, Jamie Carragher, Kate Abdo, and he was on that show talking Champions League or just talking soccer in general. And Thierry Henry presented him with the captainship for the match on that show. And there's just like all this content coming together, promoting the game. It just feeds it way more versus just like Celebrity All-Star Game, just show up and no one cares. Like, no one cares. So I think they really could take, like you said, Eric, take notes on something like this.
Yeah, and one thing I do want, we could talk about this another time, but I think commentary, just again giving flowers to them, plays such a huge part. Because even in the normal game, like, commentators can be boring, and if you're having like amateur people like watch this stuff only because they like one YouTuber, if you really want them invested, you have to make it fun all around. And so I think they play a big part, and that goes for the main sport too, because my GOAT commentator, Ray Hudson, he does not get enough credit, bro. He is legendary. He is a poet on the mic.
The GOAT.
He is a poet. We need more people like that across all sports on the mic, because I mean, that just raises the bar to another level that I feel like just it should be more popular. But that's a side note. We can save that for another day.
For sure. No, I think it definitely does. It makes more of a difference than I think they realize.
Yeah.
And maybe over time that'll shift. I think right now, at least historically, and then maybe even up to right now, it's usually like former players or I guess people who've been in the industry a long time. I think there's something cool about that. There's insight that provides, but
there is. But you can have three
between.
people at a desk. Three people. One, you can have that old player, whatever, with that insight. You can have maybe your more standard, I don't know, host, and then you need that energy. You need someone who can bring that fun, that creativity to the job.
100%. Actually, I never talked. Well, we talk about this after two more, but I'd love to be a commentator, man. It seems like such a sick job, but yeah. I'm curious to see where that goes in the future, and curious to hear what you guys think in the comments about if you've seen the Sidemen Charity Match or not, but just the concept of something like this and the potential to see it in other sports. Because I feel like the Sidemen are really maximizing on what something like this could be, and maybe we could see it happen in your favorite sport if that's not soccer. So let us know in the comments what you thought about that and about everything we talked about today. But any final thoughts from you guys?
That's it for me.
Nah, man. I'm interested to hear what people have to say about those Nigel Sylvester fours, man.
Are they gonna be bricks?
Yeah. Maybe it'll be a break, or maybe it'll be a swish. I regret saying that, but yeah. Thanks for listening. I forgot to say at the top of the show, but like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Notifications. We very much appreciate it. I actually noticed we did get a few more subscribers after our last full-length episode went out. So maybe saying at the top did help. So very much appreciate that. Keep tapping in. We'll be here next week, dropping more episodes, more clips, everything. So lock in with us because we're keeping it going. All right.
Have a good one, y'all. Bye.
Peace.